This is Nobody Likes Casey McLain, with your host, the one and only person who thinks this podcast should exist, Casey McLain.
Hey everybody, today's podcast guest is Ryan McComb. You can find Ryan at Ryan_McComb. What a stupid screen name. Ryan's my friend. He's a comedian who lives in Spokane. He's a very funny guy. You can check him out. He's at Spokane Comedy Club all the time. He's also been on this podcast before. And this episode came about because he said, when are we going to podcast? And I thought we had already podcasted, but I forgot that we had to cancel one time. So what we talked about a lot was the reopening of comedy clubs, and I think it's interesting. Places are opening, by the way. They're opening at limited capacity. I did the last 2 weekends. I've been at Tacoma Comedy Club. I felt very safe. Everything is spaced out. I wore a mask as often as I could. Basically, I wasn't wearing one on stage. People are 15 feet away from the comedian on stage. I've done now, since they reopened, I've done 9 shows there. No, 11 shows there. Holy shit. 2 open mics and 9 weekend shows. And I felt very safe. I think you should, if you feel comfortable, I'm not trying to talk anyone into it, but if you feel comfortable going to eat indoors somewhere or go to a movie theater, I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't feel comfortable going to a comedy club. Anyway, we also talked, Ryan got laid off recently, and we talked about that because I got laid off for part of 2020, and I have a lot of feelings about being laid off during this time, and they're mostly positive. So Ryan, support him and all that stuff, but he's doing all right. He's doing okay. Follow me everywhere you can at the Casey McLain. I have Nobody Likes Casey McLain shirts that I will make available very soon on my website, thecaseyMcLain.com. So go check that out. I'm going to sell them on the road also, so if I'm coming to your city, I'm going to be in Oklahoma City at some point in either the middle of March or the beginning of April, depending on a couple of factors. So Oklahoma City, come on out if you're one of the rare people in Oklahoma City that might be listening to this. Where else am I going to be? Spokane what am I saying? I'm going to be with Gabriel Rutledge in Boise, Idaho, March 25th, 26th. Come out to that. And then Enumclaw very likely on May 1st. So come out for that. Also, check thecaseyMcLain.com/calendar for dates. Ryan and I talked a decent amount about Gabriel Rutledge on this episode, and it was very funny to reveal to him that Gabe and I are doing a tour together. So check that out. It's the tour we're doing. By the way, it's not like we have a tour bus or we're even spending multiple weekends. It's not like we're spending 3 weeks on the road together. We're going to some cities, though. So NorthwestAFComedyTour.com. Go check that out. Thank you, guys, and I hope you enjoy Ryan McComb. All right.
Also, there's definitely going to be sirens because I live by a fire station, and there's evidently they're doing lawn work today. So this is going super well. In case you're curious,
we've screeched to a start, so that's okay. The sirens are expected because you got a new apartment, and I know that you have $0, so I assumed you live close to sirens.
Dude, I have $0 now, but I had more than $0 for a little while. Things were going great, man.
That's I don't know how to even deal with you if things are going great. Since I've known you, your life has begun to spiral out of control. So it's weird to think that things were going great for a little while.
You're telling me, dude. But the worrying thing is that I got used to it. I got used to things going I thought there's no way that this can go back to the way they were, but now I don't know if I'll be able to go back to having a shitty life.
You're going to. It's going to happen.
No.
You know, you do have, by the way, I can see your apartment. My favorite part about the pandemic, the only thing I think that I like is getting to see inside so many people's houses.
Hmm.
I think it's so interesting what people, and I've also like my wife and I are like casually shopping for a new house.
Really?
Uh yeah, we've realized that living in like the hip neighborhood close to bars with a lot of traffic was not a
Hmm.
great choice for people who are about to have a kid.
Sure, that makes sense.
Um So anyway, I when I look at these places, I'm like, oh god damn, that would be a great Zoom background. That room there, and that's
Sure.
so now. Like when I look at when I look into people's houses, I'm like, oh, this is what you consider to be the Zoom background. You know what I
No,
mean?
no, I have a thing. I'm not good at hanging stuff. I don't have a lot of stuff that's worth hanging up. And so I didn't think it through. I am someone who, even when it was clear the pandemic was going to be like a long, long time, I refused to invest any time or money into making my space better for Zoom things. I just refused to. And if someone's
Sure.
here, like, I mean, my ceiling of how good it could be is not worth the effort.
Yeah, I think I think that I want to talk about your apartment right now.
Okay.
Uh, Even though this is like a mostly audio medium,
Uh,
I just want to describe some stuff in there if you're okay with that. Because
yeah, and I'm on
what I
mobile, so I can take you on a tour.
oh shit, that's not a bad idea. What I see right now is just I think the kitchen behind like it's a
Yeah,
there's like a dining bar there with no bar stools at it. By
bingo.
the way,
Bingo. Hey,
how
fun thing about bar dining stools is they cost money. So
yes, which we've determined you have zero of. Uh, how many times have you eaten at that bar standing up?
zero.
Oh wow, that's like the only thing I think it's good for without bar stools is to occasionally do some work or eating standing up.
No, I have a dining room table. How many times have I eaten at the dining room table? Also zero. I eat on the couch.
You just eat every meal sad in bed alone.
I mean, not usually that sad. Like I've just adapted to that's how my life is. No, I eat on the couch exclusively.
What do you so my uncle lives in an apartment in Spokane that he's lived in for I mean as long as I can remember
Your black
since
uncle?
no my white uncle. I have multiple uncles in Spokane. My whole family from my mom's side is from Spokane. Like I have a lot of Spokane ties. Not a draw in Spokane. I'm not saying any of them want to see me do comedy, but yeah, I have a white uncle, lives in this apartment in Spokane. He smoked in it for like 20 years and then quit smoking like 3 years ago. And let me
Mhm.
tell you, 3 years is not long enough to fully air out an apartment.
No,
Uh,
I think it takes, well, 2 years to clear out for every 1 year you smoked in it.
oh,
So he,
Jesus.
I mean, in 2050, that apartment's gonna be back up to par.
Well, first off, obviously somebody else's problem, but it's like a very like single divorced dad apartment, and I think you live in also. I'm obsessed with single divorced dad apartments, though I do not want to ever live in one if I can avoid it. That's the how.
Sure,
So you got
sure.
like Formica countertops, the wood cabinets. Formica is that shit that looks like you have like particle board underneath it, and then it's the thing on top of the particle board.
Sure.
Um, there's all white appliances, of course. That's the single dad apartment staple.
Stainless porcelain.
Yeah, uh, I'm going. You got to have coil burners on your stove, right? There's no way you have like a. Can we go look at the stove?
Sure. Let me
do you
unplug
do you
here.
regret saying we could move around?
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. I mean, I'm not wearing pants right now, but I think I can. I think I can keep that out of the thing. All right. You want to see the kitchen?
Yeah, let's see. Let's
Oh,
see the. I want to see the stovetop. That's what I want to
you
see.
like this? Oh, the stovetop. I don't. This is where I might show me in my underwear. Stovetop.
Oh yeah. Okay, we got some. We got two. Are those the only two pans you own? The ones that are on the stovetop there?
Oh,
Ooh, you have a third pan. A
four.
fourth pan.
That's La Crusade, baby.
Uh,
And yeah, nice, nice. I got a lot of compliments on this pan rack.
Pan rack, yeah.
Pretty much anything in here that looks okay is something that my ex-girlfriend left and I did not throw away. You go like this though on my fridge.
Ooh, Ken Griffey Jr. Like a screen print. That's pretty sweet.
That poster, it's pretty sick.
Yeah,
Is that all you need to see?
Well, I think the pans. I like the pan stack. You know, most people would have it in an apartment. They would have it under the stove,
No.
which is the worst. I hate it.
Mhm.
I want to see the living room now because when you lift it up, I saw you have oh yeah, the classic. The only thing going on in this room is the TV. Bigger couch than I would have expected. I will say that.
Actually, that's what I bought when I had money. Okay.
Can I tell you an upsetting thing is that I have a very similar couch, and with no excuse for how big is your TV?
55.
Okay, all right, that's not bad for a single guy in his own apartment. You have a bedroom or is this a studio?
I got a bedroom.
Okay.
Dude, I mean, you think my living room is plain? I mean, a woman who who saw my bedroom was lucky enough to see my bedroom.
Why'd she see it? Why'd she see it, Ryan?
She just came over. She's a really good friend.
Okay.
And she came over, and she said,
Did you have to pay her for her friendship?
I mean, just dinner every time I want to hang out, but it's worth it. She described my bedroom as an insane asylum because I have tall ceilings in here, and there's not a single thing hung on the walls in my room, so it's just a big white room.
I would bet that high ceilings is one of the first things they advertised for this apartment.
No, I didn't know they were going to be so high, and so when I saw it, and I signed the lease here before I looked at it because I was so sick of looking at things or like not getting an apartment. So I signed the lease and then came and did the walkthrough, and I was actually frustrated. Like, high ceilings are so stupid. What's the point?
Yeah, why do you hate them?
Because I don't have anything to hang up there. I don't have anything. They just it's just like they're useless. They don't do anything for me. All they do is provide, negativity,
I don't know. I think that you would rather live in a basement apartment than a place with high ceilings, is what I've gathered from this.
Yeah, that's what I said. I think that's why you're such a great podcast host, is because you're such a great listener and filling in the blanks on it. I would rather be this apartment does have a couple of good things going for it. Number one, it's on the top floor, penthouse, some people would call it. Not the apartment complex, but I call it the penthouse. It's got a nice view out of the bedroom. And
can we see the view? We're on it. This is going on YouTube, just so you know.
This is?
Yeah. The full cribs. Hold on. Go back. I noticed something. I just noticed something. What is this brick? Oh, look at the kitchen from there. The kitchen it's like one of those very like two people. If they ever bent over, they'd bang asses in the middle of it. What do you got here? No, go further back. Go further back. The wall in the living room has some brick on it, kind of.
Oh no, you don't get to see that.
What?
Sorry, you weren't supposed to see that.
What is it?
That's a secret project I was working on. Secret project I was working on.
Oh, now I gotta freeze frame it and reveal it to the world.
Hey, laundry in the unit though.
Ooh, that's nice. That's nice.
Not shabby. So this is the insane asylum. I mean, look at this. Look at this insane. I mean, there's literally. I got some heads or some nightstands though.
It also looks like the bed is not on the floor. I would have expected the bed to be on the floor. Yeah, a box spring even.
There's no headboard, but no, it's off the floor.
I got my first headboard at 32, so.
You did? I don't know if this is gonna work. It might be too bright.
Oh no, you got there's like a fucking empty field out there to look at, right?
Yeah. No, here, I'm just gonna turn it around. Tell me. I don't know.
There we go. Yeah, I can see now. That's kind of, you got like the foothill thing going on out there. What is that? Mount Spokane?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay, I have family that lives on Mount Spokane. I have no idea. I have no idea what Mount Spokane is like.
Yeah, that's on the north side of town. I'm on the south side. I don't know what this hill is called, but it's where a bunch of rich people live. I got this nice pond though, and then there's a walking trail. A woman just looked up and saw me in my bedroom window with my camera facing her, so it was nice. And then a nice bus station, so I could hear the buses all day.
Oh, you went from like water view and view of the rich part of town to the bus station. Really brought you down a couple tax brackets.
Yeah. That's I mean that's my life in a nutshell though. Is it you look at it and it looks great, and then you pan a little bit to the left and it's like, oh no, this isn't good at all. Oh no. And then you just have to focus on the part that's not good. So anyway, that's the tour of my
oh come on, let me see what you're looking at. Let me see what the thing is. Just do it.
I had a wild idea when the pandemic first hit, where I decided that I was going to film a comedy special in my room, like in my apartment. And I had some crazy ideas of like, it was going to, I mean, if I was willing to put the effort in, it could be really funny. I don't know though, but I created a backdrop for it using like one of those trifold like presentation signs. Yeah. And construction paper and crayons, and then I made a sign. So this is gonna be the backdrop for my comedy thing. It looks pretty good, man.
Kenny's Chuckle Zone.
Yeah, that was the name of the comedy club where I was filming the special. My dad's name is Ken, and it made me laugh really hard to have it.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that your dad's also a comic.
Kenny's Chuckle Zone. I think that's a really funny name for a fake club.
That is it takes away the like the Chuckle Hut or whatever, like the one everyone uses. I like Kenny's Chuckle Zone.
I didn't know Chuckle Hut was a thing. I don't know.
People say Chuckle Hut.
Yeah.
I think that I'm glad you didn't film a special in your living room. That's someone I know did that. I guess I'm not going to say his name, but someone I know, a couple people I know, like early into the pandemic, were going a little fucking insane and tried to film stuff with no audience. And I don't think that's a good idea. I think it's a very bad idea.
I had a couple of ideas. I'll tell you later. But yeah.
Why would you tell me later? Why not just tell me now?
Because there's
I have nothing to talk about, Ryan.
80% of it is that I'm embarrassed, and 20% of it is that I still might do it, and I don't want to blow
it. You don't want me to steal your brilliant idea?
No, not you. I just want. Oh, and then there's another. I don't know. It's mostly embarrassment though. But I had an idea because you're right though. Like there's a point. There's like it's cringy, right, to do it just standard and just set it up and film it and no joke or no laughs and just here it is, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the thing where you can have like a couple people come over and be an audience, but that's weird. So I decided to take it in like I decided to go fully the other way and
You're just gonna sell out a theater.
No, but yes, in a way. I just went so far in the other direction because the other option, right, is a laugh track or something like that, right, which is an awful idea. But I thought of an idea to just take it in such a stupid direction that people can't be mad at it.
There is a oh wait, that's beyond this idea is the stupid idea, or you're gonna reveal the stupid idea?
No, I don't want to get into it. Like I said, I still might do it, even though comedy's back. But no, there were some specific ideas I had about how I could go super far in the other direction with it, but it just seemed like a lot of effort. And at the time I had a job, so I didn't want to put that effort in. But now I don't have a job, so I might do it.
If I guess the idea, will you tell me?
Sure.
Were you gonna use like somebody else's special, the laughs from somebody else's special for your jokes?
No, that's not it.
Oh, this is not good pod to not reveal it. Everyone's gonna want to know.
Well, hey, here's good though. Here's something that's good though is subscribe to Case McLain's Patreon. I'll tell the Patreon subscribers. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll subscribe to my YouTube. You might just see it pop up one day.
Don't subscribe to his YouTube, anybody, please. Not after that. I don't think that's a good enough. We need a better nugget. I'm upset that we don't get to find out. I want to know. I want to know. I want to find out as everyone else finds out.
It is like it's one of those things that on paper it's such a bad idea that you just have to see it and you go, this should not have worked. It's like when your buddies are moving and they find some like crazy way to move a refrigerator and you're like, this is not, and then when it reaches its destination, you're like, okay, that should not have worked. It's one of those things where you're like, I can't believe that ended up okay. So.
Can I say you've never sounded more to me like Michael Scott than right now? Like the level of confidence. You say that you have to see it to understand why it works, despite it not having happened or working yet. Do you know what I mean?
Or yeah, any sort of possibility, legitimate possibility that it will happen at some point in time.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. It's like talking to the guy while he's describing how he's going to move this refrigerator. You know, sometimes you just got to let it happen and mind your business and trust. So, comedy's back, Casey. How's comedy been going? What have you been doing?
I've done a total of 11 in-person shows since comedy came back.
Does that include private stuff?
No, no. I did 3 of the private shows at the comedy club, and then I did like a bunch of those backyard shows. Did you do any of the backyard shows?
No, I don't think anyone. I did one backyard show, but it wasn't through the comedy club. It was
Oh, gotcha. I only did one through the comedy club, and then I did by the way, we're talking about Spokane and Tacoma Comedy Club, which they share owners. I did my friend Gabriel Rutledge, who you know. We did. I think I did.
You don't have to say he's your friend. You don't have to say he's your friend. You're gonna say Gabriel Rutledge.
I'm sorry that I call him Seattle's Dave Attell, but it's very funny to me that you're like jealous over my ongoing and meaningful friendship with Gabriel Rutledge.
No, I'm not jealous of it. I'm irritated that I'm so unimpressed by it that I'm mad that you thought that you had to mention that he was your friend.
Gabe Rutledge is a podcast listener on occasion, and I hope he listens to this one and hears how unimpressed you are by him. That's all I will say.
We'll listen to this one because he's a good friend of mine, too. I just don't go around bragging about it.
Tell me his phone number right now.
I'm not on the podcast. That'd be rude. You have his phone number?
No, I actually want you to give it to me so I can call him. No. No. Yeah, I do have his phone number. Getting his phone number was funny because he's one of 2 comics that I've become very good friends with, who I don't have their phone number.
Who's the other one? Matthew Broussard.
It's not Ryan McComb. No, I have a bunch of dude. If you going through my phone, I have like a bunch of comics numbers that I have no business having because they wanted like something recorded at a comedy club, and I was the guy that they called. So there's like a billion numbers in my phone that I would never, like, not only would I never use them, but if I called, the person would have zero recollection of who I was. I
also have. You described it.
Say it again.
Even if you described the circumstances.
Oh, I mean, if I was like, hey Theo Vaughn, I was the guy that helped you set up your recorder at Tacoma Comedy Club. He would go, oh, I guess I kind of remember that I recorded something at Tacoma Comedy Club.
Got it.
And then there's people who I wouldn't message because I don't think they would be happy to get a message from me. Just because it's like, you know, who's that annoying fucking MC that I shouldn't have given my number to in Tacoma in 2016? You know what I mean?
I went to when Nate Bargatze was in Spokane. I was the MC that weekend, and he was like, "Hey, we're grabbing lunch tomorrow if you want to come." And I said, "Yeah, great." And then he had his feature text me instead of him because I don't think
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. I've gotten a bunch of phone numbers. I feel like I know we've talked about this off of the podcast, but I've gotten a bunch of phone numbers from people who, like the first headliner I ever emceed for was Brett Ernst. The first at Tacoma Comedy Club, I should say.
I don't even know that name.
Brett Ernst?
I Google it. I'm using my phone for the podcast.
Brett Ernst is a fucking crusher. You should look him up. He's very, very funny. But we got very drunk the last night. This is like a I think I told it on he was on this podcast also. A big get. I mean that sincerely. A big get for this podcast.
I only listen to one.
He and I got drunk the last night. It was one of the waitresses' birthday, and I remember this because she fell off a stool, and I thought she had a concussion at one point. Like, pretty gnarly fall. We're drunk. He's playing hip hop from like 1989 that I fucking hate. Like he's turning it up louder than anybody in the club wants it to be turned up, you know? And he goes, "Okay, let's go to the casino. Do you know how to play craps? Let's go to the casino." I'm like, "I don't know how to play craps." And he's like, "I'll teach you how to play craps."
Love
so
it.
we may or may not have acquired 2 beverages from an unknown source and brought them on the street with us. We walked for a little bit and then got an Uber, went to the casino. By the way, not only did I pay for the Uber, which almost wiped out my entire earnings for the week, but while we were in the Uber, he's like, "Oh, I want some chewing tobacco." So we stopped at a smoke shop in the Uber. We're in the Uber. We're just like clock's running while we're waiting in the drive-thru of this smoke shop.
Drive-thru at the smoke shop?
Oh yeah, baby. I live on I don't anymore, but the casino that we went to was on the Puyallup Indian Reservation, and they have a bunch of smoke shops.
Understood. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
they used to what?
Oh, back when I was, I don't think they do this anymore, but when I was younger, occasionally a smoke shop. It's actually, I think, burned down now, but you could get you could buy tobacco underage. I don't think they burned down. I think they just shut it down. But I started smoking at 16 because this one smoke shop would just allow you to buy at whatever age. They would just never ID anybody. So anyway, I had his phone number, and like I got along with him so well that weekend, and then like 3 months later, like a longing ex-boyfriend, I sent him a text like, "Dude, I just want you to know," because he said some shit to me that I still think about today in comedy. And I was like, "Dude, that shit really meant a lot to me. Thank you so much. You were so cool to work with." I'm sure he's like, "Wait, where's this guy from? What's the 253 area code? I don't even know what that is."
I hate that.
And then when I talked to him most recently, I was like, "Hey, does this feel like a complete stranger is on like the video?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have no idea who you are." And I was like, "Okay, that's good." So like that's like I've learned from that, and there's almost nobody. I have done that almost 0 times. I do have a couple like ongoing conversations with people, but if those die off, like I try to just let them die, because one of the things that I think is when you treat someone like that, you're not actually treating them like a person. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's why dudes get fucked up with women. Like they can't like, why they creep women out is because they stop treating them like people, and they start treating them like these fucking mystical objects, and like just treat people like people, man. Like Ryan McComb is starstruck right now, treating me like a person though. It's
yeah, man. I mean, you're so subhuman that it's hard to treat you like a person. It's actually the opposite problem with you is like you're so down below that it's hard I have to treat you better to treat you like a person.
Yeah.
That's why. No, but yeah, I mean that's never gonna turn into any like it's never like dragging that conversation on is never gonna turn into a friendship if you're forcing it, you know?
Yeah. So the where we got was it was Gabriel Rutledge and Scott Lassie. I realized at some point that I didn't have their phone numbers.
Oh.
And so where was I? Oh, I did these backyard shows with my good friend Gabriel Rutledge. And that's where we were at. And hey, I'm curious, did you do anything from like March 2020 till February 2021? What and how many shows did you do?
Great question. Thank you for asking. I did one backyard show. I was on the last weekend at the club before stuff shut down. I was at the last weekend at Spokane Comedy Club featured for Gabe Rutledge, actually. And it was eerie. It was creepy. It was was weird. And then probably 2 months later, I did a backyard show that my old coworker reached out about, and that was fine. And then I did one show in Montana and one show in Idaho. I mean, it's a little bit easier for me because I'm close to Idaho where they don't care. And then I did a weekend at this place in Idaho, but like no clubs. I mean, just random bar shows that a lot of them would have been my worst show of the year. And they were, but they're also technically my best show of the year because it's all that happened. So,
oh, that's interesting. So the experience I had is a lot of shows, like you're saying, I agree completely, where it's like, this would have been, I probably would have rejected this show a year ago. I would have just said, no, I'm not available that day. Even if I had something, even if I wasn't booked, I would have been like, nothing is better than doing this show. Doing nothing is better than doing this show. And I can't risk like closing this hole in my calendar for this fucking somebody's driveway.
Yeah.
And that was like, dude, I would be looking forward to those all week. And I had a lot of fun, dude. Like I actually like I hope they're back again next year. Like I think I'm into backyard comedy. Like I fucking am ready to go for some backyard comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that was like, you did like 5 sets basically between.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Five sets. Yeah. In 11 months. That was brutal.
What was the longest of those 5 sets?
That weekend in Coeur d'Alene. I don't know if you should hop on.
Yeah, I'm booked on it. I'm booked on it with my good friend Gabriel Rutledge.
At Honey?
Yeah.
You should tell him to what month are you going there?
June.
You should bump up those ticket prices.
Yeah, okay. We'll do that.
I'll talk to you about it. But yeah, there I was headlining, so I did like 45, 50.
Oh, good. Yeah, I wanted to. So Gabe and I are doing this tour. My good friend Gabriel Rutledge, called the Northwest AF Comedy Tour. And that was like one of the spots. And what I realized is that I probably could have headlined it easily and have him headline it a different weekend with somebody else opening.
Yep.
And I just fucking first off, like I didn't want to do it in like March because I actually did 25 on Sunday, but I was like, if I'm gonna do 45 or 50, I would have liked to have a couple more cracks at 25 at least. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, I want to try to headline there. I think they're booked up through the year, but Gabe and I will be there in June, and I will talk to you about ticket prices because I have that inclination. I think you guys are experiencing the same thing at Spokane Comedy Club, is that everybody's so fucking sick of being in their house that they're just so I did 8 shows with Damon Wayans Jr. at Tacoma Comedy Club, and then I did a brunch show, which is an idea that I suggested 3 years ago. My wife and I went to New York in March of 2018. I went to the Comedy Sellers brunch show and immediately started suggesting that Tacoma do this. It took a global pandemic and local businesses closing and being on the brink of bankruptcy for every business in the United States of America to make it happen. But we did a brunch show on Sunday and it was completely sold out. Like everything is fucking selling out. The open mic, they're turning people away, turning audience members away because they have to be like very strictly at capacity.
Yep.
And so I think that, yeah, like it's going to be pretty wild. It's going to be a wild first 12. I think we might be that whole like roaring 20s thing that happened after the Spanish flu. I feel like we might actually have that, like the wild parties and excess.
Was that due to the Spanish flu though? I mean, I've heard the roaring 20s obviously, but I don't know what tension or what events or what led to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing was probably like prohibition, I think was in that time, but I don't know, man. I don't know what caused it. I do feel like there's gonna be like an awakening out of this thing where people are gonna go buck wild for a while and everyone's gonna want to be doing shit out of their house. Where like for several years it was like dude, like I'll just watch the Netflix special. Why would I go see that guy? Why would I go pay $25 a person to see that guy when I pay $18 a month and I have every special of his in my living room?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'd much rather watch it in person. I mean,
Well, of course, you're a fucking comedian. You're not like.
you're talking about other people. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I would fucking the
Yeah.
in club experience is infinitely better in my opinion than a guy stumbling through the material 8 months after he wrote it is a better experience in person than the guy with it like super polished 3 years down the road.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, we saw that in Spokane too, of the open mic. I went in there. I was closing it on this last Wednesday, so I showed up super late and walked in, and as I walked, I was like, oh, it's packed. And then I saw there was a thing on the door that said no re-entry.
Oh shit!
Any other week, the sign on the door would have said like, please don't leave. Like we need.
we'll give you free tickets to stay.
No, I mean, yeah. So I can see that coming back, but with Honey, even if you're wrong and there's not this Roaring 20 thing, I think it'll last through June at least, and
Yeah.
B, that room only seats 50 people. I mean, not due to COVID, just how big the room is. I mean, they'll pack everyone in there they can, but yeah, we were turning people away, and yeah. So yeah, I'll talk to you about that later though. But where else is your Northwest AF comedy tour taking you with your good friend Gabriel Rutledge?
We have a show at the Chalet Theater in Enumclaw at the end of April. It's not announced on their calendar yet. Boise, we're going to the Lounge at the End of the Universe. It's kind of like as places are willing to reopen, we're going to try to put shows there. So we've had dates scheduled, like Grants Pass we were going to go to, and that got canceled. And Honey we were going to try to do earlier, and it got canceled. We weren't actually on the calendar, but there's been some other Oregon stuff that's just like, there's a lot of places that don't want to open yet. But I think because I think that we're just going to see places start to reopen because they have to. Otherwise, it's go under, right?
Yes, and if I'm still unemployed then, and you're looking for another guy to come along on the tour, even though there's not a lot of money left there, let me know. I'll come hang out with you guys.
We do need someone to carry our bags.
Carry your bag, tuck you in at night, kind of be there to diffuse the sexual tension. I can do all that.
I don't know if you'll diffuse it. You might have to fucking cut it with a different method, but yeah, maybe we'll see. Are you planning on unemployment still has benefits, right? So we should talk about this. This is actually what I want to talk about, and we've waited 50 minutes to fucking. Well, first off, you showed up 15 minutes late, you piece of shit. But what I actually do, the thing, like the topic that I wanted to talk about is you got laid off yesterday. Are we allowed to talk about that? Is it too fresh of a wound?
No, let's talk about it.
You just carried. If you're listening to this, Ryan just brought his dog. She's already starving because he can't feed her because he has no job. She's at depression era starvation. I can tell by her demeanor.
She's so freaking cute, man. She's
a cute dog. My dog would eat her in 2 bites.
I know, and Cleo would try and fight your dog, even though your dog's probably 4-5 times as big.
She's 60 pounds or something like that.
60 pounds. So about, let's say 8 times as big. Cleo's like 7 pounds. But anyway, yeah, I got laid off yesterday. Yesterday was my last day, but I officially found out last Tuesday that I was getting laid off. But I had kind of heard to the grapevine a week prior to that I was going to get laid off. Gotcha. So I just had to go into work and like act like I didn't know.
Yeah. So I got laid off last April. It's the first time I had ever been laid off in my whole life. I did have like a stretch in like 2008 through 2010. There were a couple stretches where my jobs were on like furloughed hours. So to be like, you'd miss a day every other week or something like that.
You had a 2-year span where that was happening?
Probably 3 years. And it was like, it wasn't happening the whole time, but it was happening like in slow seasons on occasion. So is this your first time being on unemployment?
No, I was so the this was a new job for me. I got this job in June, so I was there for about 8 months. And the previous place I worked was like a kind of a startup in Spokane and based in the travel industry. But it was located in Spokane, was the headquarters. And so once COVID started happening, the company went bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was working for them, like winding things down. So I had time to find a job, but there was a 1 week there where I was on unemployment. So,
Okay.
yeah, I was laid off from that one technically. Well, not even technically, I was laid off from that one. And I was on unemployment for 1 week, and then I got the new one. So I'm back,
So are there still like the weekly? Is it like $400 a month, 500 extra, or sorry, $400 a week?
It's 300 a week right now. That's for 2 more weeks. That's active, and the bill that they're voting on now would extend that and bump it up to $400 extra a week.
Oh, okay. So are you making a comparable amount of money to what you were before? Will you be making a comparable amount of money too? Because the month I spent on unemployment, and I do all right, I made more money for those weeks by like just a little bit than I would have made otherwise.
But that's when they were doing the extra 600, correct?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, when it was the extra, no, it's probably, it's a little bit less. It's still survivable,
Yeah.
but it is a little bit less for none of the work and none of the stability. So
it's pretty nice to have comedy available to make money that you can pretend like you never made.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. I was thinking about after, but we could talk about it now. I don't think there's any narcs. I don't think either of your listeners are narcs.
There's no IRS employees on the listener line.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, they're going to see at the end of the year that I'm going to file my W-2s for any comedy work that I have to. And they're going to see that, unfortunately, I wasn't able to secure any comedy work during this time either. So
Yeah.
that's what they're going to, it's unfortunate that there's no comedy going on right now, or any comedy that is coming in is stuff that I'm doing for free to help the comedy clubs out because they're so desperate for money and I'm that good of a person. But yeah, theoretically, if I was a criminal, it would be nice to be able to get unemployment and do work for the club and and fill in that gap a little bit there. That would be nice, but I'm not a criminal and that's not a situation that I have to deal with.
Of
but
course,
that would be
and also, like, if you were to do one of those free shows that you're not getting paid any money for, and you were selling a T-shirt after, all the money would go to charity immediately. You would never hold on to any of that money, or you would just give the shirts away for free as promotional items for when comedy comes back. People will know to come back and see Ryan McComb, even if they happen to take some pieces of paper out of their wallet and leave them near you. That's just coincidental. I understand that.
I don't even sell my merch. I have one of the nuns from the local church come in. They do all of the changes, so I'm not even tempted to take any cut of it. They just take it straight in and they hand it over the T-shirt. So that's what I do to kind of cut to the chase. Yeah, I don't have any merch right now. Anyway, I gotta invest in some merch.
Are you one of these people that is, do you not have merch because you can't afford to have merch? Because I've made this argument to people before that if you can't afford to have merch, you actually can't afford to not have merch.
I would agree with that argument. I'm not one of those people. I am someone who sold out of merch.
At the perfect time.
Yeah, it had been, I mean, there was a week, there were probably 2 club weekends that I should have had merch, but I hadn't restocked. I think that, actually, I sold out of merch in November. I remember because I was featuring for Kevin Nealon. And there was this whole thing where I had done a show up in Sandpoint, Idaho, which is about 2.5 hours from Spokane. I'd done a show up there and forgot my merch bag. So I had to drive all the way back up there to get my merch bag and drive back. And anyway, sold out in November. And then there were probably 5 shows where I could have had merch again, but given the fact that I've lost 2 jobs between now and then, or then and now, and the fact that there's been like no shows, I'm not. It hasn't been the worst thing in the world that I don't have merch.
Yeah, I was when the pandemic hit. I had several dates planned, many of them with my good friend Gabriel Rutledge. I did have like a bunch of weekends with him, oddly scheduled, and this is before, like, we weren't planning on this tour. This tour is born out of, I think, like, both of us were depressed in like September. I was like, hey, what if we just found like the most right-leaning theater owners in Oregon, and let's fucking see if they'll let us do a show in their theater. And turns out some of those folks are assholes. Can you imagine that some of those folks are assholes?
To you?
There's one dude in specific that it took 3 months for me to finally get a no out of him. He kept going like, yeah, I want to make this show work, blah, blah, blah. And I told, yeah, it was very annoying. And I'm fine with not doing a show there. This was like, my point is, I was like days away from buying probably 100 or 150 t-shirts. And I'm like not out right now, but I'm like pretty close. I would say I have like I would sell out in a weekend at full capacity, no doubt.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So, which was a good position to be in then. I now actually today, I'm trying to switch my merch to shit that's I don't have to tell a joke about, so I can stop eventually telling the jokes that I do. What's you give a look of disgust?
No, do it based on a joke. Like, do it based on a joke.
Well, no, it's literally arriving today, so no, I'm not going to do that. But I'm
really?
Yeah.
You're going to debut it live on the podcast?
I'll show you it's this logo. Let's see if I can get us both out of here real quick.
McLain, that's your logo?
Yeah, so that's the logo, and I'd have a joke for the merch, but what I hope is that it sells well enough, and then just every time I update the logo, it'll be like this logo is available for a year.
Oh, sure.
And then next year it's going to be something different. So, because it's just like the time when you stop telling the joke and the time when you run out of merch are never going to be the same time.
No, but why can't you do the same logic of, the shirt's gonna be around for a year, but still based it on a joke?
Because I don't know if I'm gonna stop telling the joke in a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
I have a joke for the merch pitch, like that's just for the merch pitch. That's it. But I'm not gonna say it here.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, don't ruin it. I guess that makes sense. I'm not.
Well, hey, it doesn't really make sense until it sells. If they don't sell, then it doesn't fucking matter.
I'm kind of, my look wasn't of disgust. It was of confusion. I didn't like the idea at first, and I'm still not sure that I do. But it's an interesting thing because I've always thought that merch, no one's actually wearing that shirt. It's a tip. So it shouldn't matter. It won't matter what's on the shirt, but I feel like there are people that will get encouraged to tip you if this is a joke that they think
it's a joke they connected with. Yeah, I think I definitely, my opinion on merch has changed a lot since I started selling it, which is I think the most important thing you can do is do well on stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And be likable.
Yeah. And I think then, by the way, you say be likable, and then the shirt is nobody likes Casey McLain, so that's fun. The joke is going to be, if you like me, I have the shirt that's for my podcast. It says nobody likes Casey McLain. If you don't like me, buy two, because then you can really tell people that you don't like me. Something like that.
I had a shirt. Have you seen my merch shirt before? I'm sick of the idea, so I'm not doing it anymore. But have you seen my shirt before?
Was it like something about a seatbelt?
Yeah, it was like those signs in Washington that say, "Please don't drink and drive," in memory of whoever. But I have a joke about I'm going to die taking off my sweatshirt while I'm driving.
Yeah.
So it's a spoof on that sign, which I know is in very poor taste, but it's a spoof on that sign that says, "Please don't take off your sweatshirt and drive," in memory of Ryan McComb. And my
that's funny.
Yeah, it's funny.
Did it sell well?
Not particularly, but I
Okay.
also made a mistake, and people don't like buying white shirts, which I didn't know. And I think I put in one order that was black shirts, but the rest were white. And I had multiple people tell me that they specifically were not buying it because it was white.
Yeah, I got told to buy only buy black shirts. People only buy black shirts, basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But yeah, my joke that I would say, if you like me, buying a shirt is a great way to support me. If you didn't like me, buying a shirt is a great way to pretend that I'm dead.
Oh, that's fun.
Anyway, it was a good joke.
Is there any comic that has merch that you're jealous of? While you think about it, let me tell you two of mine, and it might bring up some memory.
Bill Kopsinski has a great shirt.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the ones of mine because I think I know Phil's, and then I'm gonna argue with you on Phil's if it's the one that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Chase Myers has a shirt. Chase Myers, Corey Michaelis have two very similar shirts.
Yeah. I don't know Chase.
Say it again.
I don't know Chase. Sorry, you're about to explain it, and I interrupted you to say I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, so Chase's shirt. He has a joke about the Some College box on a job application, and so he has a shirt that's like in the Animal House College font, and it says Some College. And then Corey Michaelis has one that says like Community Collage or Collage Graduate. He has a bunch of variations on it. Those are both like it's like a shirt people would wear. First off. I would wear. I will never buy a comedian's merch shirt, but Chase Myers, who I actually have a podcast with, I would wear his merch shirt. Jay Hollingsworth has a shirt that says "Basic." That's another one that I'm jealous of. Yeah, I think there's a dude in San Diego named James Hancock III who has a shirt that just says "Laugh More" and it has like a logo. But again, like what I'm most jealous of with the Laugh More thing is that he doesn't have to tell a joke to sell the shirt.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, I like telling a joke. I like when comics have a joke and then the shirt with the joke. I feel bad for like Corey. I mean, it's definitely worth it. I mean, he sells so many of those shirts that it's worth it, but him having to tell that joke every time, that sucks. But it's a great joke and a great shirt. What do you think Phil's shirt is?
Does it have print on the inside somehow? Yeah, okay. So tell me about it, and then I'm gonna.
So his joke is he saw a poster at a gym that said, "I don't quit when I'm tired, I quit when I'm done." And then he says that's also a great motivational poster for giving head. And so the shirt says, "I don't quit when I'm tired, I quit when I'm done" on the chest. And then if you lift up the bottom front of the shirt, it says, "This shirt is about giving head." Which is people love they think it is hilarious. I have seen more people buy multiples of that shirt than any other. I mean, people come up and buy 3 different sizes of that shirt to give to friends.
Friends that they blow, I think, is the
Hope so.
Yeah, my only problem with it, I don't have any problem with the content of the joke. It's just I'm sure printing on the inside is a fucking nightmare. I'm sure those shirts cost them so much money to make.
Oh yeah, from a profit, but it's such a good shirt and it sells so well. From what I've seen, I mean, I don't know Phil's, I don't have any stats on it, but just from watching it seems to sell super super well. I'd imagine it's probably worth the extra $1 a shirt too. You know, if you pay an extra $1 a shirt and it sells one extra shirt for one show, you've already paid for the extra cost on 20 shirts. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, no, I know. I'm with it. I definitely think that's right. That's why like I don't skimp on the brand, for example, like the brand of shirt. Like make the shirt nice, and yeah, hopefully he'll sell more of them.
Yeah.
That's actually probably the completely wrong. My thing is probably the completely wrong idea, which is I don't think anybody's coming up to it going like, "Oh, is this an American Apparel shirt?" Like people will buy them and then go, "Ooh, this is nice." But they're never like, let me see what this feels like before I buy it. I've never had a single person do that. So I think probably Phil's thing, spending the money on something to make the joke funnier and make the shirt funnier is probably actually 100% right.
Yeah. Or yeah, I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I want a new merch shirt. And so I was actually just thinking about that this week is I need to I need to. Adam came and talked to me. I was hosting 2 weekends ago, and Adam was around. And he said I'm ready to headline, so I should have a one-night headline. Have you headlined Tacoma Comedy Club before?
No, I'm headlining. Just to swing my own dick and not let you get too much out of this. I'm headlining Skyline in August.
For a weekend, or you got a Sunday show?
For a weekend.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude. Until he
Nice.
bumps me for somebody that's more famous. That's like,
Well,
oh.
hey, congratulations anyway. That's a big deal, man. So
Yeah,
they
I'm
haven't
excited
let
about
you headline a single show at your home club, but they'll send you to Wisconsin?
Yes, I think that if there's a very good chance that if comedy had not shut down for a year, that it would have happened
Yeah.
in that time, but that is
I
correct.
think-
I've also been bumped like 4 times in the pandemic from Skyline. And
Sure.
then again, so this has been on the calendar for a little bit, but I've been bumped from there several times, and I've been bumped from Oklahoma City a couple times, which is the other club that they own. And so I'm not saying that this is why, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt that I've been like understanding about it. You know what I mean? Been like
You're a
cool
good
about
guy.
it.
Uh-huh. I think it only makes sense because even though people don't know your name, they'll see your headshot and see that you're a fat white dude with a beard, and that's very popular in Wisconsin. So
we want to hear what this guy has to say.
yeah, this guy is. I mean, it's the same. Yeah, it's. I won't say more out of fear of being problematic, but you know.
Oh my
everyone-
God! This is the thing. I've thought about this a lot recently, and I think about you all the time. My dad is a conservative on this side of the mountains, and I feel like when people are conservative on this side of the, like when they're a black sheep wherever they live, right? I feel like they overdo it to like kind of prove their point. And I think you are you're so sensitive, Ryan McComb. You're such a sensitive boy that you don't want to make. I don't even know what the joke was. Is it like, is Wisconsin racist? But if you mention racism, then you're like you're so sensitive.
No, it wasn't.
Comedy's problematic, Ryan McComb. Comedy is problematic. Who gives a fuck? I also heard the most compelling thing I heard is that the word problematic is problematic because it minimizes everything down to this pretty innocuous description.
Oh, it's a problem or it's not. No, I think problematic if you're an intelligent person who's willing to have a discussion and is interested in that. Problematic is a good diving off point to say I think it's an. And I'm talking. I haven't thought this through a lot, but as I hear you say that, my argument would be that it's a good jumping off point. Like you could say, that's problematic, and here's why. Or I don't think that's problematic, and here's why. I think it's a good.
What I'm saying is that to me, something being problematic doesn't mean it's not worthy of comedy. Doesn't mean it's like not like I'm fine. Like it's like and I know that everybody's Patrice, the documentary about Patrice, which I haven't talked about on here yet. Have you seen it, by the way?
No, I don't have cable.
It's you could. Well, we'll figure out a way to let you see it. I bet you there's a way you could see it. But
yeah, okay.
Anyway, Patrice is like gonna be responsible. A bunch of fucking 19-year-olds just became aware of Patrice, and he's gonna be responsible again for like a lot of people just saying edgy shit for the sake of saying edgy shit.
Yeah.
But I heard this amazing interview with Patrice one time where it was Ron Bennington, and he's like, Patrice, a lot of people say that you're misogynistic and racist. What do you have to say to those people? And he's like, yeah, misogynistic and racist. Like, that's what it is. Like, deal with it. I'm not here to fucking make you happy. And I think that's kind of the valuable thing I think you can get from Patrice is like, I want to do the comedy that I want to do. I know that I'm not a hateful person, and I don't want to be scared to do the comedy I want to do. I don't want Ryan McComb to be worried about. I don't even know you're gonna make the people of Wisconsin mad.
No. It wasn't. It just was a talking point that's not worth it. I have jokes that people would probably take offense to, but they're funny enough that it's worth it. It's all about, is it worth it or not? I won't say something. You should, like at open mic, you see this a lot of people just saying this horrendous shit, and you're like, I'm not mad that you said it. You have the right to say it, but I also have you're wasting my time. Like if your whole point was to say something edgy, then you're wasting everyone's time. We're at a comedy club. We're not at a what's the darkest thing you can say. It's not like you don't just walk in here and you're like, you know what, I'm just here and I have a microphone in my hand and it's open mic comedy night, so anything I say is automatically comedy and just gives me a free pass to say whatever. Like every single joke that I mean, I don't have very many stuff that's on that borderline, but there's stuff that, I mean, I have a joke about child abductors, and I'm like, I know it's not, I can see some people taking an issue with it, but it's funny enough and ridiculous enough that I don't have a problem if they have a problem with it. That sucks, but edgy comedy is my least favorite kind of comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I think done well, it's the best kind personally, but I think that like its children are fucking horrific. You know what I mean? Like the comedy that it spawns, its imitations are fucking horrific.
Yeah, I guess to clarify what I mean, not edgy comedy is my least favorite, but poorly done edgy comedy is my least.
If I was gonna pick a genre of comedy that I hate the most, it's open mic comedy of any variety. You know what I mean?
I go back and forth on it. Sometimes I love it, but sometimes I love. I mean, there is something special about an open mic night of just wild cards that can happen. There's so many people up there, and open mics are some of the most fun events to take people who haven't been to a comedy show before. If you just go and be like, hey, let's watch this chaos unfold.
You know what they might see though is some edgy comedy with those wild cards that you mentioned.
That's fine. Like there is a woman in Spokane named Ying who is a very she's Chinese and doesn't speak perfect English and doesn't quite have a good grasp on what is okay. She's been banned from multiple open mics for saying the N-word. And so prepping someone, like I've been around people who have seen Ying for the first time, and I've gotten to say to them, hey, this might go off the rails, just so you know. But let's just buckle up, and Ying's not going to hurt my feelings, or she might make me cringe. She was also, I think you were there the night she stole my joke at Nito Burrito.
Maybe. I don't remember anything about our relationship, so it's been so long.
Because I always roofie you. Because I'm a sexual assaulter. Edgy joke.
Ooh, that's a good dismount. We should end on that so that I can go back to work. But
you have work?
Yeah, dude, I took my entire lunch break to do this podcast, and you showed up late for it, you piece of shit.
Well, you didn't tell me. I thought you were unemployed for some reason. You know what I'm going to go do? I am going to go to a local park with my dog, set up my hammock because it's about 60 degrees here, and drink some White Claws.
All right. Well, tell everyone where they can find you so that I can stop talking to you.
Ryan_McComb, Twitter and Instagram, and maybe at Casey McLain's house in, I think, May. I gotta text you. I might want to stay at your house in May.
We'll see. That's a tough
for
sell
one night.
With
Come on, one night.
We'll see. See what's up.
Your wife loves me.
Oh, she does like you. That's fucking upsetting. All right, I'm ending this right now. Bye.
All right, talk to you later.
Text me about the stuff we talked about, the ticket prices and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.